What if I told you that reaching 60 isn't the end of something but the beginning of a freer, more fulfilling chapter in life? A chapter where you finally let go of burdens that never truly mattered and start living life on your own terms. After 60, we begin to see life differently, not through the lens of societal expectations, but with clarity that comes from experience. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing what truly brings peace and joy. In today's video, we're diving into 9 things I stopped doing after 60, and how each change has brought more meaning, freedom, and happiness into life. At Elders Community, we explore the experiences and lessons that come with aging. If you've ever felt that shift, the one where you stop living for others and start embracing your own path, then this is the place for you. Stick with me as we reflect on what it means to live intentionally after 60. Don't forget to subscribe to Elders Community and join our growing family of like-minded individuals. Now, let's get started. 1. No longer care. What people think. One of the greatest freedoms that comes with reaching 60 is finally letting go of the constant worry about what others think. For most of our lives, we're conditioned to seek approval, to dress a certain way, act a certain way, and live up to expectations that aren't even our own. We put so much energy into trying to fit into molds that quite honestly don't fit us. But something shifts after 60. You start to realize a powerful truth. Most people aren't paying as much attention to you as you think. They're busy with their own lives, their own struggles, and their own insecurities. That realization is like a weight lifting off your shoulders. Suddenly, you no longer feel the need to impress or conform. You can dress comfortably instead of fashionably, speak your mind without worrying about judgment, and embrace the quirks that make you unique. It's not about becoming indifferent. It's about understanding that external validation is no longer necessary. This shift brings with it a deeper connection to yourself. You start to focus on what truly brings you joy, whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply enjoying the present moment. The energy you once wasted worrying about others is now yours to use in ways that nourish your soul. By letting go of this worry, you open the door to a more authentic life. You're no longer held back by the opinions of others, and that allows you to live in a way that feels true to who you are. After all, the greatest freedom isn't being liked by everyone. It's liking yourself and living a life that reflects your values. 2. No longer put up with toxic people. There comes a point in life when you realize that not everyone deserves a place in your story. After 60, the tolerance for toxic people, the ones who drain your energy, bring negativity, or take more than they give, begins to disappear. You start valuing your peace of mind far more than the illusion of maintaining difficult relationships. In earlier years, it's easy to feel obligated to keep these people around. Maybe they're family, old friends, or colleagues, and you tell yourself that walking away isn't an option. You endure their behavior, hoping things will change, but deep down, you know they won't. After 60, though, something shifts. You realize that life is too short to spend it on relationships that harm more than they heal. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself or become bitter. It means you become selective. You set boundaries to protect your emotional well-being, choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you rather than tear you down. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't always easy, but it's necessary. When you stop putting up with toxic people, you create space for genuine connections. Relationships built on mutual respect and kindness take root, replacing the chaos of drama and conflict with a sense of peace. The time and energy you once spent managing difficult dynamics can now be invested in people and activities that truly enrich your life. And the best part? The more you value your own peace, the easier it becomes to say no to those who disrupt it. After all, choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care that allows you to live more fully and joyfully. 3. No longer have unrealistic expectations of others. When we're younger, it's easy to place high expectations on the people around us. We expect our partners to read our minds, our friends to always be there, and our family to fulfill roles they may not be equipped for. These expectations, often unspoken, lead to frustration and disappointment when people inevitably fall short. After 60, though, there's a shift. You come to understand a simple truth. No one is perfect, and expecting perfection only creates unnecessary tension. People are flawed, just like we are. They're doing the best they can with what they have, and sometimes that's enough. This realization changes everything. Instead of being disappointed when someone doesn't meet an impossible standard, you start to appreciate the small gestures, the kind word, the thoughtful call, or the time they make to be present. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't mean you settle for less. It means you embrace others for who they truly are. This shift also brings more peace into relationships. You stop trying to change others and instead focus on building authentic connections based on mutual respect and understanding. When you let go of trying to control how others behave, you free yourself from unnecessary frustration and open the door to harmony. At this stage of life, it becomes clear that relationships thrive on acceptance, not perfection. And the more we let go of what we think others should be, the more we can love and appreciate them for who they actually are. 4. No longer set complex goals. In the earlier stages of life, goals often define us. We're driven by ambitions to climb the career ladder, build a family, and achieve milestones that society values. These long-term objectives give us purpose, but they also bring pressure. The fear of not meeting these goals can weigh heavily, creating anxiety and robbing us of joy in the present. After 60, however, the need to chase complex, far-reaching goals begins to fade. There's a realization that life doesn't need to be measured by grand achievements. Instead, the focus shifts to simpler, more personal aspirations, ones that align with who we are now, not who we were striving to be. The goals we set after 60 are often smaller in scale but richer in meaning. They might involve nurturing our health, exploring hobbies we never had time for, or spending quality time with loved ones. These goals don't require years of planning or intense effort. They're about making each day count in ways that feel fulfilling. For example, instead of planning an elaborate trip years in advance, you might decide to enjoy a quiet afternoon in the garden, or take a short trip to a place you've always wanted to see. Instead of focusing on long-term financial milestones, you might prioritize using your resources to create joyful experiences now. This shift also brings a sense of freedom. The pressure to prove yourself fades, and in its place is a calm contentment with what you've already accomplished. It's no longer about the destination, it's about savoring the journey and appreciating the moments along the way. Living without the constant weight of complex goals allows you to breathe easier and enjoy the beauty of everyday life. After all, the most meaningful victories aren't always the ones we plan. They're the ones we discover when we're present in the here and now. 5. No longer try to stay busy for the sake of it. For much of our lives, busyness is worn like a badge of honor. We equate a packed schedule with productivity, filling every moment with tasks and commitments. It makes us feel accomplished, even if it leaves us exhausted and disconnected from what truly matters. But after 60, a powerful shift takes place. You begin to understand that being busy isn't the same as being fulfilled. The constant hustle of earlier years starts to feel unnecessary, even counterproductive. Instead of rushing from one activity to the next, you start to value a slower, more intentional pace. This doesn't mean you stop being productive or engaged. It means you become more thoughtful about how you spend your time. You no longer feel the need to fill every hour with tasks just to feel accomplished. Instead, you prioritize moments that bring genuine joy and meaning. A peaceful morning spent sipping coffee, a walk in the park, or an afternoon with a good book. These quiet moments carry more weight now. They're no longer seen as idle or wasted. They're recognized as essential to a balanced, contented life. By slowing down, you also create space for deeper connections. Instead of hurried interactions, you can savor quality time with loved ones or enjoy meaningful conversations. The pressure to always be on the go fades, and in its place is a sense of freedom to focus on what truly enriches your life. The realization that you don't need to be constantly busy to find value or purpose is liberating. It allows you to fully embrace the present moment and live in alignment with your own pace and priorities. After 60, life becomes less about doing and more about being, and that's where true fulfillment lies. 6. No longer engage in unnecessary debates. When we're younger, it's easy to feel the need to prove a point, defend our beliefs, or argue our position in every conversation. Whether it's about politics, personal choices, or even trivial matters, We often engage in debates that leave us frustrated or drained. But after 60, you start to see things differently. You realize that not every disagreement needs a response, and not every opinion requires defending. The urge to argue fades, replaced by a deeper desire for peace and understanding. You learn to pick your battles carefully, saving your energy for discussions that truly matter and letting go of those that don't. It's not about giving up on what you believe in. It's about recognizing that some conversations are simply unproductive. Over time, it becomes clear that people are often set in their ways, and no amount of debating will change their minds. Instead of wasting energy on futile arguments, you choose to focus on building connections and fostering harmony. This shift also brings a sense of inner peace. By stepping away from unnecessary debates, you free yourself from the tension and negativity they often bring. Instead, you can invest that energy in positive interactions, creative pursuits, or simply enjoying quiet moments of reflection. Letting go of the need to always be right creates space for growth and understanding. It allows you to listen more, appreciate different perspectives, and prioritize relationships over winning arguments. This approach doesn't just improve your own well-being, it also strengthens your connections with others. After 60, the focus shifts from proving a point to preserving peace, both internally and in your relationships. And in doing so, you discover that life feels lighter, calmer, and far more fulfilling. 7. No longer strive for perfection. Perfectionism is a weight many of us carry for years. We strive to be the perfect parent, the ideal partner, the flawless professional. We push ourselves to meet impossible standards, often at the expense of our own peace of mind. But after 60, something beautiful happens. We let go of that burden. You begin to see that perfection isn't just unattainable, it's unnecessary. Life isn't meant to be flawless, it's meant to be lived. The small imperfections in ourselves and others and in the world around us are what make life unique and meaningful. This shift doesn't mean you stop caring or trying your best. It means you stop expecting everything to be perfect. You embrace the idea that mistakes are a natural part of growth, and they don't define your worth. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, you learn to celebrate what went right. Letting go of perfectionism also brings a deeper sense of self-compassion. You start to forgive yourself for past missteps and accept yourself as you are. This kindness extends to others, making your relationships more understanding and forgiving. With this newfound perspective, you begin to focus on what truly matters. It's no longer about how perfect the outcome is, but how much joy and meaning the journey brings. A messy, heartfelt effort becomes more valuable than an unattainable ideal. At this stage of life, you come to understand that imperfection is not a flaw. It's a gift. It allows you to connect more deeply with yourself and others, to live more authentically, and to find peace in the beautifully imperfect reality of life. 8. No longer worry excessively about the future. For much of life, the future looms large. We plan, we save, we strategize, always trying to prepare for what's ahead. While these efforts are necessary to an extent, they can also create constant worry. What if things don't go as planned? Will there be enough? These what-ifs weigh heavily, often robbing us of the joy in the present. After 60, however, a shift begins. You come to understand that no matter how carefully you plan, life will always hold surprises, some good, some challenging. Worrying about every possible outcome doesn't change the future, it only diminishes today. This realization brings a sense of freedom. You learn to let go of the excessive fear of the unknown and focus instead on the here and now. It's not about abandoning responsibility, it's about trusting that you've done enough and that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. The beauty of this mindset lies in its simplicity. You start to notice the small, meaningful moments you might have overlooked before. A quiet morning, a heartfelt conversation, or the feeling of sunshine on your skin. These moments ground you in the present and remind you that life is happening now, not in some distant, uncertain future. This shift doesn't mean you stop planning entirely. It means you strike a balance. You prepare for what's reasonable, but refuse to let fear dictate your happiness. You trust in your resilience, built through years of experience, to face challenges when they arise. After 60, life becomes less about what's ahead and more about what's right in front of you. And as you embrace this change, you find a peace that comes from knowing you don't need to have all the answers to enjoy the journey. 9. No longer feel obligated to participate in every social activity. For much of life, there's a sense of duty to say yes to every invitation. Whether it's family gatherings, workplace events, or social outings, the expectation to always show up can feel overwhelming. You attend out of obligation, fear of missing out, or simply to avoid disappointing others. But after 60, something changes. You begin to realize that your time and energy are precious, and not every invitation deserves your presence. The fear of missing out is replaced with the understanding that fulfillment doesn't come from being everywhere. It comes from meaningful interactions with the people and activities that truly matter. This shift allows you to become more intentional. Instead of spreading yourself thin trying to please everyone, you focus on the connections that bring joy and nourishment to your life. You say no without guilt, understanding that declining an invitation isn't a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of your own well-being. Choosing to step back from social obligations doesn't mean you stop enjoying relationships. In fact, it deepens them. By prioritizing fewer, more meaningful interactions, you're able to give your full attention and presence to the moments that count. Superficial engagements are replaced with genuine connections, creating a sense of balance and peace. This new approach also allows for the beauty of solitude. Time alone becomes something to savor, not avoid. Whether it's a quiet afternoon reading, a reflective walk in nature, or simply sitting with your thoughts, solitude provides the space to recharge and reconnect with yourself. After 60, the focus shifts from quantity to quality, not just in social interactions but in all aspects of life. You no longer feel the need to attend every event or meet every expectation. Instead, you embrace the freedom to choose what truly aligns with your values, creating a life that feels fuller and more intentional. Life after 60 is not about slowing down or giving up. It's about living with intention. It's a time to reflect on what truly matters, let go of what doesn't, and embrace the freedom that comes with experience. By shedding the unnecessary, be it toxic people, unrealistic expectations, or the pressure to always stay busy, you create space for peace, joy, and fulfillment. This stage of life is about prioritizing what brings happiness, whether it's meaningful relationships, quiet moments of solitude, or the simple pleasure of living authentically. The wisdom that comes with age allows you to focus on the present, appreciating life for what it is rather than what it could be. For those walking this path, I encourage you to embrace the changes that come with time. Let go of old burdens, cherish the moments that bring you joy, and live each day with purpose. Life after 60 is a chance to truly celebrate who you are and what you've learned along the way. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've stopped doing after 60 that's brought you peace or happiness? Share your thoughts in the comments. They might inspire someone else on their journey. Thank you for spending your time with Elders Community. If you found this reflection meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, let's continue exploring and celebrating the beauty of this chapter in life.